throughout Challengers when they played up against Rise. Didn't find at all any value on that chamber. It's gotten slowly better, but also the rest of the pieces with this comp have gotten better as well. So look to Ye to find some early momentum for himself. I think that's going to be key in this match.
KRÜ starting off on the attacking side of the ball here in this opening best of 3. See how they choose to go about things. You already got a little trap set up by Victor. Do they check him? Oh dear, they don't check him, but he's not landing any of the shots. I don't think he hit a single one, Bala.
No, not at all. Finesse is still here. He didn't get anything down to delay this, so KRÜ has gotten a lot of space and a 2-man advantage. They could TP away where Klaus has been working that mech wall all the way up in towards Lamps.
Okay, that's certainly one way to go about it. Ultimately falls, but not without taking one with him. You see the flashing backside as Mizzino tries to get the spike down. Should be able to do so.
Spike planted.
Finesse a bit weak here as Marv looking to challenge. Starting to swing around with the Ghost.
Good patience for Klaus.
Yeah, man, the Classics just hitting, and OpTic at least through that round. Yeah, they took care of a couple, but just not the start they were looking for.
Yeah, they went into with a 3-stack towards B long, and KRÜ responded with their own 4-man stack with the stim beacon from Brim. That's Marv throwing that down, and immediately as well, they're getting a Brimstone Molly so that they can't help outside and into Garden. So there's only 2 players there. Victor doesn't miss his shots, and I think it was Crash Seeds was way too close on that wall inside of Octagon. He could not trade or help while there was all those shots going off. So a bit of a counter strat from KRÜ working out. And now OpTic on the low buy. They won't force into this. Yeah, with just a couple of shots from a share. They're going straight down long into Nagza.
Yeah, there are 3 players here, and now it's them the ones who are hitting the shots as the kills get traded back and forth. Numbers still in favor of KRÜ. They have map control. The spike's in a good spot.
And they just heard Ye's TP as well, and now they spot Finesse. So
ooh, that's a rough way to go.
Yeah, the blast back doing just a little last damage, and the rest of the players already on towards that A side as well. That was clean, I think. Even though originally Nagzet goes down, that's good adjustments from KRÜ. Exactly what we want to see. They drop the spike for Kesnet to start rolling up those ult orbs for his showstopper.
Spike planted.
I mean, dude's already halfway there. Ye has 4. Now make that 2 shots left, but that's all it was going to be. So Kesnet wraps up with 3. You mentioned the ult orb from the plant. Another one on the kill there at the end. Now 3 points away from the showstopper as we head into round 3.
Yeah. Still far away from it, though, so he's not going to have it for the bonus, and potentially could get it for the gun round. I think that might be a win condition if they, you know, don't win the bonus, which is expected. I think a very, very good, actually, there's 3 players down, Doug, for that round, so that was actually a great eco round. OpTic invested nothing, and while KRÜ recovered, I think that waiting to drop the spike over to Kesnet bought a lot of time for Ye to make that rotation and get that shot off.
And you're mentioning how effective it was for OpTic while the round didn't go their way. You see the repercussions of that. Kesnet's on a shorty.
Yeah.
Nagzet has the Sheriff. So you don't have very much to work with. Kesnet tried going fast. He tried doing something a little cheeky. And Ye easily dismisses him.
He double layered his alarm bots there, so look at the 2 slow fields.
Yeah.
And there's a nade on top of it as well. They stepped any more close to that, they were all dead.
Ye TP's out, giving the false sense of security for Finesse, them to think they can push forward, and Finesse is waiting. 48 HP, takes a good bit of damage, eventually falls, but Marved on the flank. Put things back in their favor. Class, the last one standing on the side of KRÜ. You mentioned the bonus likely wasn't going to go their way, and well, Bala, you were absolutely right.
Yeah, they actually did choose to go for a bonus in that case, so a bit of a throwaway round from them, especially given the way that they went for it and the way that they didn't push the tempo up into Lamps once Ye TP'd out. There's the one, and the second slow field too. Yeah. And Ye dodges the flash before the rest of the round gets cleaned up. This is where, now that KRÜ did opt to go for that bonus, they'll have the money to fight back. And we were talking about Kesnet's ult potentially coming online in this round. It's not there. He didn't get the kills that he needed. It's actually Mizzino who's close. And Ye has the tour de force. He's actually just holding down short, and there's actually a poison orb that lands directly on top of him. So he TPs over to B. And now they have 3 players here, and they're very close up to Octagon if they do decide to peek. And now we're later in the round, but they're actually going back over towards A.
We'll keep an eye on Remember, where Crashy's just put himself behind that little setup they have going on.
He's already walking down sand. Exactly. He's got the info. This alarm bot's going to give him even more, and Victor's here to respond. They've got 2 players pushing down sand to flank, even though they got the kill on the Ye just then. Who TP'd into Lamps.
Oh, and Delzic's not going to get the timing. He started to look back showers. If he gets this just right, this is going to be problematic. There it is. The shots initially miss, but eventually come through. As OpTic getting the openings that they need. Victor on the tap, swings back out, waiting for his next challenger. And it's Victor who assumes the position. Marv cleaning that up. Victor trying to stick the defuse. Klaus is no way in.
Yeah, none at all. The wall blocking him, the smoke in his way as well. And I'm wondering why EA TP'd into that Lamps position. We saw him TP away from earlier in the round. I think there might have been some sort of utility paired up with that. Maybe a flash from Crashies, but didn't quite catch it. Still an interesting decision. They lose out the first kill, and they still are able to get that flank going, get it really successfully, smoke off the lamps, and isolate a lot of different spots. There's no bathroom control at all for KRÜ. And try to go for that wall plant. So now they have really nothing except a couple of ults and a judge from Kesnet. And we've seen how he wants to use the shorty to get up close to Ye.
You ain't getting close to Ye. You're not. Orbital strike drops through. Delays things for just a moment. You've got Victor in a great spot to try to cut off the initial push. Does a good bit of damage onto Delzik too. But off of this, KRÜ can take some space. I don't know that it's quite enough to get the spike down. They've established U-Haul control. Yeah, Delzik falls, the spike goes with him. This should be on OpTic to clean up.
Enemy remaining.
It's a classic.
And excellent, really excellent adaptations out of OpTic. You want those rounds to be clean, right? Like, it's when things get scary like that that you mentally things become a problem again.
Sure.
Perhaps a bit too close, and or a bit closer than they should be. But for OpTic, it feels insignificant because you should win it.
Yeah.
But for them to get through that cleanly is a big deal.
Well, don't forget also the way that KRÜ had their Hentei go.
Yep.
Much less clean. You saw the consequences of that. Basically nothing in the bonus. And now with eco around that, they also don't get that much damage done. So yeah, he's really working the map with this chamber. So often he's in different positions. And they'll go back for this. Delzik holding the ult to punish a push down long, which OpTic has already done so far. But KRÜ responds with them getting all the way up into hookah and nobody punishing that drone, stopping it from getting the information. And now they have space for Kesnet to work off.
Get the Trailblazer out from Crash. He's down long to get some info.
Surprising that they don't actually smoke hookah off. But even though Kesnet gets the kill, Ye trades it back. Now, Marv is dead though, so they can't hold the choke points just as well.
I'm out of stock.
The Seekers are read perfectly. They go out,
Yeah.
but look at OpTic. They're all rotating. A little bit of hesitation though.
And the alarm bot should give things away with 48 seconds left. There still would be enough time to call a bluff, but OpTic deciding to double down. Victor never lost Shower's control, so he's still in this position. Well, he was still in the position until he falls. Victor with a nice kill traded back as the spike gets planted. Nagzet going to go aggressive. That's all it is for now. A 2v2 op shot into the smoke. Try to catch someone off. Not happening. Mizzino's left alone to try to protect this from happening. Crashies, big clutch out. OpTic are going to get the defuse too. It's a great response from OpTic.
Absolutely. They gave up the map control, read into it, saw exactly what the play that KRÜ was making.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of it was by process of elimination, they understood what KRÜ were trying to do. The Trailblazer down long, you had the alarm bot in a short, you knew you had Shower's control. Hookah was the only part that you had kind of lost some footing on. You figured out enough that the play was elsewhere.
Yeah, as soon as those Seekers came in. But they traded Kesnet, so there's not really any fake power behind those Seekers.
Exactly.
I think also KRÜ's reacting to the information that the Seekers give, so that's why they tuck tail and run back towards A. Victor gets a little bit of delay by himself, even though he falls in that situation outside of bathroom, but by that point, he's broken the wall, and his teammates are coming through to isolate the player in lamps, which we've seen KRÜ get stuck in so many times, and once again, they're on a low eco situation.
Crasher takes a little bit of damage there. Again, assuming spot just on the other side. Showstopper comes out from Kesnet, fires through, nothing happening. Perhaps Ye can find some more success. It's a bit of the same, really.
Flank so fast from both Crashies and Finesse. And importantly that they're able to trade there, because now they cannot just funnel their way back through sand. Res from Nagzit brings up Klaus again all the way on the flank, but again, they don't have weapons in this at all. So they're trying to win this round. The wall is not broken yet. And again, he gets the spike. Marv is nasty on top of this bench.
What wall? Zeno Sheriff not able to find.
They're investing everything.
Shots. Yeah, they are. They want to try to steal this round away as best as they can. Remember, they have the orbital strike, so if they do get the spike down, they have a chance to get it back.
Still an alarm bot here. If the slow goes off, that buys all the more time. Good molly, though, from Delzik. And yeah, there are tools here.
That's a big box they had to check, right? Now they have, as we were mentioning, the orbital strike in the post-plant scenario. They don't have elbow control. And you see Delzik pushing back out to Hookah, make sure no one's flanking around. They're going to push in through spawn. What a shot out from Klaus. He falls. And here's where that orbital strike should come into play. OpTic have no idea where he is. Not even off the tap. A bit early.
They don't know where he is yet either.
They're guessing Marv just so weak. He lands a shot, surely. Delzik can pull this off. The tap out from Ye. Gets it at least to half. Oh, he doesn't see the knee. Ye swings out. Ye gets 3, and he's going to get the defuse. He should be able to do so. That could have been very bad, Ball.
Yeah, he tucked himself all the way in. You have to jump out in that situation. Like I said, no molly. And while the orbital strike did actually isolate them, and because he stayed silent, he's able to pick off Marv, but Ye, too good in the clutch in that situation. Gets it to half, knows what he has to do. And as Delzik misses the shots, he responds too.
Ye with a very casual 14-4 skyline.
Yeah.
Stat line, excuse me, as we are, let me check my notes, 8 rounds into the game? Yeah, okay.
Yep. Said you're having a game.
He is having a game, indeed.
Again, they go for this position. You called it out 2 rounds ago. Crashes up close. Nobody here to fight him, though, and Nagzit, I think, smells this out. He's aiming in a different...
Yeah, I don't know that he does. Ball in, there it is! The wall drops and the kills go up. Ult Orb going in favor of Kesnet. You see the Viper's Pit.
Meanwhile, Victor just got a kill over top of the Viper wall of Klaus. So just playing on top of Truck. Nothing going KRÜ's way right now, even when there's an idea for them. They're just doing things individually. And that's 2 players, isolated, not traded at all.
Big kill out from Zeno.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, there's just, OpTic were still in such a strong position prior to that, well, yes, dropping Ye certainly hurts. You still have the rest of OpTic to deal with.
They know where Kesnet is. They don't know where Delzik is, though. And I think Crashies, while he's aware of somebody potentially being inside of Hookah, Delzik was so far advanced, he gave up the position. And with 25 seconds, the way that Kesnet is walking back, they've already made the decision here. Can't get through the Viper's Pit. And I'm not close enough to help you out through Hookah. Another round for OpTic, 6-2. Momentum swinging heavily in their favor since that pistol round. And every round since then has been honestly clean, outside of the one clutch that they had to scramble to get with the A in the 1v1.
And even then, I mean, maybe not as clean as all the others, but you don't get much of a better situation if you're OpTic than that, right? Like, who else would you want in that situation? Perhaps Crashies, but Ye's almost automatic.
And we saw just there the way that Crash is getting into it. Even Nagzit is slowing that position, trying to deter it. But 2 rounds prior, OpTic was investing a lot of utility to try to make sure that that goes down. For example, Finesse was dropping a snake bite so that nobody could push past the boombot if they did end up placing it from Kesnet. Just the common take of Hookah. And Crashies is shutting it down.
Timeout from KRÜ coming through as they're down 4. Things don't look great. Remember, this is an elimination match, opening of the best of 3, so still plenty of time for things to switch around, but this is their map pick.
Yeah, it's an interesting map pick as well. I mean, to pick Bind into OpTic, who has looked phenomenal on it all season long.
Right.
Except for maybe that opening match against Rise. Sure, they haven't played it that much because actually in NA, teams are starting to completely move away from it.
Yeah, they don't
opting to ban it and making a situation where OpTic doesn't want to, go into it. There's so many situations where teams like XET, for example, who are phenomenal at Bind, want to play it against them and they just can't.
Yeah. And it was really off of that they made their name on Ascent. Many people thinking that that's their strongest map leading into this tournament. We saw them stumble on it, unfortunately, earlier.
Yeah.
But that is going to be map 2. So for KRÜ here, got to get back, got to get something going here before this thing gets out of hand, because when you've got El Diablo doing what he's doing, this will get out of reach very quickly.
Yes, it will. But KRÜ is a team who can, you know, stick with it. They've shown that tenacity. They've shown that perseverance. As now, you might wonder, this timeout's gone kind of long. It's actually OpTic who's taking a timeout, giving a little breather, and we're seeing this with the momentum that they have, leaning into that, talking about what's working, talking about how to continue doing what is going on. For example, Crashy's pushing out of Sand, them getting the flanks off of Sand multiple times. We haven't quite seen yet Victor and Marv take bathroom control that often. I mean, KRÜ has really not poked on that entire side of the map.
And that, I mean, in a lot of ways, Victor hasn't had to explore very much at all, right? We saw a couple of rounds where he died, but ultimately got the kill with the paint shells, and that was after establishing bathroom control as long as he did. So he can easily just kind of coast their KRÜ or not hurting them there at all.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely need to work that sand control a little bit better, because that's hurting them. That really is. And Klaus not able to find anything on the lurk up through lamps, I think is also hurting them, because the whole reason you're bringing Viper these days is to get that threat, right? To make that a threat.
Sure.
But so often Victor's playing on top of either triple or truck and just shutting that down. So has to find a different timing, but also some way to break that alarm bot without necessarily committing too many resources.
See the molly invested there. Second time they do that. This time with the knowledge. Crashies likes to hang out there. You even see it and drop the Trailblazer to make sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, he's not there. And that's been confirmed. But yay, with another opener.
Even when there's pressure inside of Hookah, no smoked. And Marv is on the other side of the map, and it looks like finally Delzik actually, no, does not want to explore bathroom. Just checks it off completely from the playbook is KRÜ. If Nagazet goes alone here, he's taking a fight against Finesse. Off angle though, up top. He just stands on top of the flower pots. And it's too easy.
It'll be interesting to see if they still choose to push into this. They know the operator's here. And well,
spike down B.
It does not work out any more than the first time did. Nice shot out there from Klaus to drop that, but he falls and oh, okay, they are going to pick up that operator at the end of the day, so that should get carried on. Dropped it.
You've really seen KRÜ's playstyle so far throughout this map. The way that Nagazet is trying to find entries as the Sage right now, and the way that Kesnet as well just follows up the Trailblazer. No flash, nothing else, no smoke on the front of Hookah or anything like that, where they can clear out Hookah before taking the angles onto Ye. And OpTic is chewing them apart in those situations. Yeah. Keep track of this. Ye 16-6. And he's switching up his position now, down short, which might expose Crashes and Finesse here.
Similar setup to what we saw in the first round. The swing out, the timing's just gorgeous, man. And then the flash to push them back. They didn't have much as far as guns. I think it was just a
He just TP'd right out. I know Marv peeked there earlier on, but he's not even scared of that. That is ridiculous.
Spike in a pretty difficult spot as it's still hanging down long. Nice 2 kills out from KRÜ to give them a bit of room to work with. Marv still playing back sight. Takes a bit of damage. The molly pop out in the swing. The one weapon they had making things work, and now Ye has arrived.
Oh my god, he's just
Klaus, he's weak. Yeah, he's got the Vandal. And I mean, dude, if you're feeling it, but it's far from over. It's a 1v1. They both have Phantoms. Crashies swinging out. He's a little bit weaker here. Nagazet not able to land the first couple shots. Fortunately for him, he didn't take any damage. 8 bullets left. A little ring around the rosy as Nagazet wrapping his way around. He's gonna wall up. Oh, Crashies with the challenge. Nagazet's out.
He's right on his heels. He is running it down right now. Nagazet's gonna get the reload off, but planting the spike is gonna be so difficult with Crashies on his tail.
Crashies has to go fast. If perhaps it's just enough to delay. No, not able to do so. So the spike does get planted. Remember, Nagazet, the healthier one of the two in this moment. As the spike now becomes a factor, the shots out from Nagzed onto Crashies, a thrifty round win for KRÜ.
Those sheriffs so dangerous. Even when Marv rotates over. And Ye is there in time to fight as well, and he had the confidence to swing way out after he picked up the Vandal. And it's a thrifty round from KRÜ. Exactly the type of thing that you need. This type of round to get back into position. And it was a gorgeous clutch as well from Nags. A lot of people criticize this guy because of his performances consistently underwhelming on a role that's so important. In this case, he's playing the Sage, and a big growing point is they actually go towards Bathroom for the first time in this match. Is getting the res online on this attack side. This is a reason why this comp is so good, why you see Ascend in EMEA go on such a streak.
You heard the tour de force used at the beginning of the round for EA as he's holding down a short. You mentioned it really had been the entire map before KRÜ did it, but they finally established some presence in showers. But the question is now, Bala, what do they do with it?
Yeah. Look at the patience they have right now. Nags is really worried about the sand push. And Crash has just flashed it. So Nags knows that he's looking for information in that position. Here comes the ult. It's way far back. They're not going to know that this is executed on this site for a long time. But now it's clear.
And the orbital strike delays the initial push out from showers, while the rest of KRÜ try to brute force their way in through short. Xeno's already fallen. The wall goes up and the spike should go down.
30 seconds left.
Surely that doesn't.
Spike planted.
There's a gap in that wall.
Viper's Pit. Marv pushing his way forward, able to take care of Kesnet. How much more can he find? Numbers heavily in favor of OpTic.
Spam from Marv, so good, but Klaus is going to push on him. Marv gets it.
It's just Nagzed here in a brutal spot. They had Seekers, they had OpTic, they had everything they could possibly want to deal with and more, and OpTic find a way.
And that was a great setup for KRÜ. After they took the site, they got the wall across. Sure, there was a gap in it, but they break the segment anyways. They get the open plant.
Last round
and they're spread. They have bathroom control. They have short control. There's no flanks coming. And they still lose it because they opt to go for the Viper's Pit. And it's not necessarily that that's a bad play. Obviously, you want to use that. But nobody's there to play through the Viper's Pit except for Klaus by himself. So nobody flanking up through lamps. Nobody actually trying to maintain control of that backside and make that a choke point that OpTic fears going through. 8-3 right now. KRÜ. This is a tough road back.
Ball, it just seems to have gotten a bit harder too. Double op setup out for OpTic. For Ye and Marved.
Marved actually has a Phantom as well on the floor. Just because they've had so much money. You saw Ye actually use the tour de force last round. Not buy a weapon at all. So they have a bank. And it's going to pay off potentially. Marv's such an advanced position.
Kesnet is taken. U-Haul control. The wall goes up and the plant follows. There's the hop out from Marv. You mentioned the forward position that he had and it pays off.
He picked up the Vandal as well. Finesse gets a kill from the back of sight through smoke as well. Kesnet's gone. The main fragger. It's really all up to Nags. Can he get a res up? Yes, he can. Mazzino, for now, back in the game.
Look at how far back they're playing off. It's because of lineups. Yeah, the first molly comes through and there are two snake bites. Klaus. Spot where he still has it, but he's so freaking weak. Crash, he's pushing forward. The flash to swing out through the smoke. It's all onto Marv. Finally, a bit of success for KRÜ, unless Marv can snatch it away. There are too many targets, too much to look at. KRÜ avoid a 9-3. That was probably the best round they put together the entire half.
Yeah, that was gorgeous. Outside of the pistol round, that was definitely a really, really nice round, even though OpTic had the bank, even though they had a couple tools that were unexpected, especially Marved onto Mazzino early on. But the post-plant works out.
Post-plant works out. OpTic with the 4-round lead as we hit halftime on Bind. Yinsu, what are your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Doug and Bala. My thoughts are KRÜ really needed that last round, and that could potentially give them a lifeline. What do you guys think?
It's complicated, isn't it?
It's complicated for multiple reasons, yeah? If you look at the side of KRÜ, they haven't put enough boards, rounds on the board to make me convinced. But furthermore, if we look back at the stats that I spoke about in the pre-desk, most of the rounds, convincing rounds from OpTic, even if we just look at their past game, were overwhelmingly on defense. Where did Ye perform best? 300 ACS? It was on defense. defense. I mean, like, they will win their convincing defensive side, and I already expect it. It's that second half that I'm worried about for OpTic.
I'm actually not worried that much because I was, you know, I'm on the crew boat here, but I have to be completely honest when I'm on this desk, and I saw them, you know, trying to take Ye out of his position again and again. We saw him, I think, 4 rounds in a row trying to take control over lamps. Ye being like, yeah, I don't care the moment that he TPs, there's somebody else to take that refrag for him. And I felt like crew was trying a little bit of everything, but they were being so narrow in the space that they needed to take, and they need to understand what makes a composition strong and what can be
I want to point out this. The reason I want to point this out,
that you cannot catwalk onto Ye. You cannot just go one by one.
This is the weakness.
That thrifty round that they got, because they got 4 rounds. Let's break that down. 2 were the pistol one and the next one. 1 was a thrifty where they all decided to go, you know, a little bit more close up together. And then the last round, which I like the last round, but it's not going to be a repetition there. The adaptation was not there. Ye was all over the map. The operator plays, I think everything was good. It doesn't feel like an 8-4 to me.
Crew was feeding at that point, and I think that clip was really indicative of the fact that they were lacking that utility. They had set plays over an A, and I want to point out the fact that yesterday, after they played 4 different bomb sites, there's an indication they know what they want to do on A. For B, there's a lack of utility to get them in to even show us that they might have a set play. And conversely, they only had 1 successful site they've planted on in the past 48 hours. That's it. Every other site they've ever seen on any map, they could not successfully plant on. That's unreal.
It annoyed me that he had 2 flashes before
they had 3 smokes.
But it is what it is. We're going to go back into Bind now and see what's going to happen at Doug and Bala in the second half.
We're halfway through this voyage called Bind. Bala, Ye is good.
Yeah.
Ye is good.
He's nasty. But Victor's the one who's up in the face of Klaus early on in lamps, and he's destroyed him completely. Nags it up on a little cheeky wall, actually. It blocks the entrance from Klaus, but they're walking up on him, and they get the advantage of it, so instantly 5-3 advantage for OpTic.
Delzik backside trying to use the semi to re-clear U-Haul, and he does. It teleports through. The spike goes out, and Finesse was waiting to try to get a couple of kills, not able to do so. Delzik took some damage though.
That's a great fight back so far in the round. They get 2 before they TP out, but Kesnet takes the fight again by himself. And that's what Jess and Kakuko on the desk were talking about. And that gives Ye the complete corridor to himself with a headhunter. You don't want to give him those long angles on pistol round when he can one-tap you from any range. That is gorgeous from OpTic, but a little disappointing from Kesnet there swinging.
Yeah, it's hard, and perhaps it's a bit of desperation. It's tough to say for sure. And you mentioned this, right? Like Kesnet taking the swing. I even, while it didn't pay off fully, Delzik took some damage. That's all it was. I really like the trap that OpTic left off the rotations and leaving Finesse in short to try to deal any damage, get a couple of picks along the way. So it seems like OpTic just looks so much more comfortable than they did the last time we saw them.
Yeah, absolutely. The drone actually comes up here, and there's going to be a potential flash. They're playing anti against Mazzino here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Up close inside of Hookah, that's where that was next.
And then the nade out from Kesnet gets a second.
And that's an advantage on the eco round, even though Finesse, he might go down. Yes, huge advantage now.
This is going a bit sideways.
How do they recover? Slow play here from OpTic. They need to find a pick. They need to work together to potentially maybe find Nags. He's got a Spectre though here, upgraded off the shorty, and already spotted both of them. Now KRÜ can really start to tighten the noose around OpTic.
Yeah, OpTic just kind of scratching here for whatever it is they can find, reaching for any sort of an advantage. It spams through the smoke. Perhaps something fortunate going their way. Hasn't been the case so far. And the one benefit for OpTic is they have time. They have 40 seconds to choose how they want to play this out. Ye with perhaps his first bullet miss of the entire game.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's just not a whole lot of options here for OpTic.
Sure. Gonna hide this Spectre. Marv will try to keep the Bulldog. Or not. Still 18 seconds if they find Klaus. Hold on. Marv thinks he has an opening.
He very well may.
10
Klaus
seconds
choosing
left.
to go for the shorty. Kesnet going aggressive. Shocker. Falls. They get the spike down.
He's biting himself as well as Marv gets this kill for dropping that Spectre down in sand.
May work out anyway as the Headhunter seems to be just as good! What? That's a backbreaker!
Wow. KRÜ really thought they had that Thrifty lined up.
Bro, we did!
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, Yay did!
Yay did too. The only player was Marv's who thought they could win that round. And honestly, I didn't even think, because we saw, Klaus spotted him outside of lamps, he swings on him, and yeah, he just destroys them. And sure, okay, bring it back for a second here, because that was an eco round from KRÜ in the first place. And they end up getting the spike down. So this buy is going to be really, really strong. Meanwhile, OpTic has to make the decision that we saw KRÜ opt not to take the bonus, or not to try to fight for this bonus round, and instead just left the weapons that they had. In this case, KRÜ taking a timeout, OpTic gets time to think, and I think they will opt to fight hard for this third round on the second half.
And bro, what do comms look like after something like that?
You know, it's interesting because I think that's something that OpTic was missing in the prior games. Just a moment like that, for example, to really bring themselves back into it. Really just know that they're in charge of the game. Know that they have their hands on the steering wheel the entire time. And when you talk about OpTic, they are momentum based. We say that a lot, but quite often we're seeing them start off slow and never really get the reins back.
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned them being momentum based because at the same time they are so fundamental, it seems, in their play.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this though.
Tell me.
Victor's got the double or potentially just one satchel with a stim beacon here.
Or flash, yeah.
Or they're just sitting. Usually when he's up on top of that box, it indicates that they want to go for it, but no, instead, it's just going to be a slow default. I thought this was going to be a fast play from OpTic.
You gotta be excited. But you're right, it is a slower start to things. See an exchange of utility, nags that considering dropping the wall, chooses not to.
It's interesting because they don't even have the option there. Hold on. Walking right up to the smoke.
They drop the wall, try to get any picks. And they manage to succeed as OpTic find two big openings, make that three on the site. Kesnit with the nade to push Marv off. Spike not down yet. Doesn't seem to matter. As
look, they got the kills after dropping the wall that you called out. And then they don't have the smokes down to that situation. Marv puts them down way late. So you can expect and realize why KRÜ was not ready for that possibility. And while Ye finds the gap against Mazzino, Mazzino wins the fight. Victor's there to trade. 11-4 now. And if they won that Thrifty round, that might have been a different story. But here they are broken economy. Meanwhile, OpTic's starting to drive up a big bank here.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a slaughter here for KRÜ. Is they struggled in the first half, and the second half seems to have much of the same as far as results go. They have two guns to work with in this round, light armor across the board. So it's not entirely lost, and they've shown that they can do more with less.
Wow.
Yep. Just barely. I mean, just barely.
They're still flirting with the idea. But if they go past this, there's an alarm bot to greet them. Finesse is holding the angle. And they've gotten Nagset up inside of carpets. Delzik gave a couple smokes over here towards the B-bomb site, which signals that there's a lot of presence here. But realistically, what OpTic should be concerned about is short, and they're not going to flirt with it at all. Spikes retrieved. They're hitting that B site. And pretty soon, there's not going to be many more smokes here available from Delzik.
That was interesting. Finesse put up the Viper's wall, the same gambit setup on his short that we've seen in the past, and then rotated off to perhaps try to draw rotations over. If they don't bite,
wow.
This OpTic swings for the Bulldog. Gets the best of things there. Okay, trading one back as OpTic seem to be back towards their antics and their winning ways as they get the openings that they're looking for. Crashies gets the spike down. OpTic just continue to frag out over KRÜ, and once again they find themselves beaten, battered, and outnumbered.
And no position to really, except for Nagzet. No, Finesse is watching. They know
Enemy
2
remaining.
TP'd. The only possibility would have been Delzik staying alive there, actually forcing some pressure for OpTic to stay on side of this spawn side.
Match point.
And yeah, they still got to buy, which is important. They didn't invest too much into that, even though there was a couple items purchased. But it's match point now. And KRÜ, they looked okay against Liquid. Right? They looked okay. They forced the second map overtime, which was a scent. But this right here,
shouldn't have gotten there in the first place.
Yeah.
But
that's true. Definitely true.
well, the thing is for KRÜ, you mentioned they didn't invest a ton, but they did invest enough to where Kesnet only has a Guardian and light armor.
Sure.
And it doesn't seem like they made any plays to get him the ultimate too, so for now he waits with bated breath to see if that showstopper becomes a factor in this round.
He's trying to call and call the plan from OpTic early on. Kesnet's literally rotating back and forth between B and A based on the information and leaving Mazzino all by himself on that B site in that situation. So he's trying to hedge really early.
Nags in a really nice spot here on Bala. Oh, the flash is enough to check him, and at least, well, he did get one. Now they know where he is. The Seekers come through as Nags has a ton to deal with, 72 HP. Understands Crash is there. The Trailblazer doesn't tag him. Nags pushes, he gets the shots, and the kill. So KRÜ not ready to be done with Bind, at least not yet. These numbers are big in their way. OpTic have won this
30
before.
seconds left.
They'll have a chance to do it again.
Enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Surely out of reach at this point, right? Surely.
It's
1,
the
2,
big
3.
finesse.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. So Nags, he gets 3 on the round. Again, KRÜ live to fight another day as they were facing map point. And it was really off of the kills and showers, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was enough to...
Nags, again,
Yeah.
did a great job holding that down. OpTic really thought that he fell back. Not only before that smoke was up, but the entire time there. Good cover from Delzik as well.
Well, and the crazy thing is, too, Ball, like, they flashed into it.
Yeah.
Right? Pushing into showers, it just so happened that the spam it worked out for him.
You want to
You know,
play?
yay with the sort of forest that you
They're
hear.
going fast to punish. Oh,
That's a punish. Yep, that's a punish, all right.
Dude,
That works.
The stim through the Viper's pit, I think they definitely knew that that was a possibility for Klaus to put down, and that might have just wrapped up the game. That decision right there from Finesse, the type of fast plays that OpTic can throw out, really working out, and the confidence shown from OpTic, it's on display right now. That was missing the other day.
Kesnet showstopper not doing anything back. Victor buying so much time and so much space. Oh, these hurt the most when you know the spike is ticking. You can't push forward for risk of a rocket in your face. Kesnet with a nice shot onto Ye, though, but you still have to work your way through the Viper's pit. You still have to work your way through 4 members of OpTic, but that might not be enough. Mazzino, again, trying to be a hero. It all falls onto Kesnet, who's had a quiet game up until now, and it's not going to get